2, 1, 2. Okay, there we go. Now the microphone's on. Sorry, I was just talking right there, and I didn't realize my microphone was off. But we live. We're live now. Okay. What's going on, everyone? How's your week going? How was the new SoundCloud submission? Do you guys have any trouble with that? Did you figure it out? Let's see. I'm gonna go pull up that feedback session document real quick. Where's it at? We'll just go from the top down. Why not? What's good, everyone? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and play lesson 6 from Kenneth. Let's go ahead and peep that real quick. He's got some cool album art over here. Like a cool oil pastel drawing. I like that. I'll give you a follow, my G. And let's listen to your submission. Nice, man. That was really cool. As always, you have the coolest chord progressions. That sounded really tight. I liked when the drums came in, and I thought that the synth and also the sub sounded really good. Yeah, sub sounded very big. Okay, going back to the chat over here. Okay, you guys can hear. Perfect. All right, Jimmy, you got the volume? Okay, good. Yeah, so that was Kenneth's submission. I was talking about it earlier, but I guess I didn't start the broadcast, so I apologize about that. But I think the artwork was really cool. Over here, he had a cool oil pastel drawing type of deal. And I went ahead and followed you since I found your account now. Yeah, that was awesome, man. I really like the little switch up you put over here. And I like all the different instruments that you have going on. Very well put together. Good job, my man. You did all of it? Wait, did you do the artwork too? Because I thought the artwork looked really cool too. If so, good job. That is awesome. Let's go ahead and look at the next submission. Over here we have a song called Wawa. Oh, nice, Ken. You're super artistic, man. That's awesome. I like that. We got JB over here with the track Wawa. Let's check it out. This is smooth. Ooh, yeah. Good job, man. That was really cool. I like how you incorporated the trumpet in there. The trumpet sounded really good. The guitar sounded really good. You had like a cool organ in the background. This is like a really dope, like loungy type of song. And look at you, man. This song's like 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Like, it's already a finished song. Depending on whatever style you're going for, I think this is a solid production. I feel like you've been learning a lot, and you've been incorporating all the lessons really well. Yeah, that was like funky and like jazzy and also like really groovy. That was nice, man. Yeah, you were in a funk jam type of mood this week. This would be perfect for like, they have like, at Swanee Lake, they have this festival called Halloween. I feel like this would be perfect for it. That was really cool, man. Really good job this week. And I noticed that Ken pointed out you had a nice little vinyl crackle in the background. I thought that was like a nice touch on top of it. Yeah, that noise floor always adds so much. Just like that little bit of sound in the background. It makes it sound more organic. Really good job this week, Jimmy. Okay, and next submission is going to be from Jaquez. Let's go ahead and listen to that. Go ahead and give you a follow. Is that a picture from Gears of War? I think that is. It's a cool picture. Let's listen to what you got. You got like a 2 minute and 30-second song too. Good job, man. I'm proud of all you guys. That was a nice beat. Yeah, that was really good. I like the chord progression and also the trumpet a lot. I think it sounded really good. And then the drum beat that you have going on, and it's cool. It's like, I love those type of drum beats. A couple of things that I think you could do to improve this song, if you're going to continue working on it. I feel like maybe your kick drum could be a little bit louder in the mix. And for this next lesson, for the upcoming week, we're going to be talking about sidechain compression. And I feel like that would help a lot for this particular song. Aside from that, I think it's great. There's a couple different things that I would like to add myself. Like, I feel like you could have like a really big and like distorted like 808 sample in the bottom for like the bass line, just so it kind of like incorporates that like hip hop vibe. Oh, and I really like this change up over here. Now, it's a cool change up. Just so you know, those two chord progressions are in a different key signature, but I think it sounds cool how you did it, so you might as well just leave it like that. I think over here in the middle section, you could do something where you do like a little snap with like a reverb or like a delay on it, so the part doesn't sound like it's missing the rhythm, or maybe even like a hand clap. So like during this whole entire part, you can have like very subtle like percussion, so it would be like this. Or like, and you could even do like a riser like right here, so it'd be like, or like a white noise. And then when it pauses, it would just stop and then come back in. So I have like a white noise going up this whole entire time. And then even right there, I would maybe like hold that little silence out for a little bit longer, and within that silence, do like a drum fill. But that's just my opinion. That's just what I think you could do to better the song. Excuse me. Alright, so let's see what we got going on in the chat. Yeah, I can tell you had a good time working on this one. Definitely a good vibe. Yeah, it's a good chill beat. I found myself like bobbing to it. I think like if you had like a vocalist, like a rapper or like a hip hop artist, like do some vocals on that, I think that would be really cool. So maybe something you could potentially look into is putting your song on like BeatStars and maybe finding like an artist to like rap on it, or even like going out on your own and finding someone online that you think is cool, like hitting them up on like social media or like their email address and having them do some vocals over your song, because I think that would be a really cool production. As soon as you have like vocals in your song, it makes your production sound super legit. Yeah, go ahead and give it a try. All the advice that I gave you, let me know if it helps you, and feel free to send it back to me so I can listen to it once you incorporate those changes. So for the following submission, we have Hammer Time over here. He's got this song, and he's fancy with the keyboard. He's got this little guy doing a shrug. Looks pretty cool. Let's listen to what he got going on this week. I like it already. So it's like Hammer Time, kind of like MC Hammer. It's Hammer Time. I like that. That's funny. Nice job, man. I like the structure of your song. You had like an introduction, you had like a little bit of a beat, you had like a little bridge section, then you had like a build up, and then the drop, so to say, or like the hook of the song. I was reading your little description down here, and you said you were trying to focus on how to use various sounds and also to identify what the EQ should be. Although you were not able to isolate the ah vocals as much as you like, you were able to take out the harshness of the sound, but it wasn't affecting the other frequencies to make it stand out. Yeah, the ah vocal sample I feel like was a little bit loud in the beginning in particular. Maybe go ahead and turn that down in the mix. But other than that, the EQ sounded great. I feel like your kick drum sounded like really big. And once we get some sidechain on that, I think it's going to make a world difference for everyone in this group. I like those like big layers you have going on too. They sound really good. What I think would be really cool for this little break section in the middle is if you had like a snare roll going. So you'd be kind of like doing like a... And you would have that like kind of, how should I put this? You would have it like start off on the auto filter like very low and then gradually increase in volume. I can go ahead and show you what I mean over here. Let's just make an arbitrary MIDI track right here. And your song, it sounds like it was at like 120 to like 125, somewhere in that range. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. What I went ahead and did is I saved myself like this, like build up. Let's see, snare build, put it right here. Okay, so over here I have this whatchamacallit. Oh, I gotta put a sample in there. Okay, yeah, let me do that real quick. We'll go with Infinity. Cymatics Infinity. Really good sample pack if you're making house music. Cymatics Infinity is one of my favorite ones to use. So go ahead and write that down and get that for yourselves. It's called Somatic Infinity Sample Pack. Really cool. Alright, we'll do a few trial snares, why not? My speakers on? Yeah, I think they're on. Whoops. Okay, I'll put that on over here. Why can't I hear that? What's going on over here? Can I hear the rest of the song? Weird. Whatever. Looks like it's coming through anyway. One second. Actually, can you guys hear that in Ableton, what I'm doing? No, you guys can't hear it? I know, I can't hear it either. I don't know what happened. Weird. I don't know why it's like that. Is everything else playing over here? Nah. Oh, I know why. Oh, of course. Okay. Figured it out. Volume automation. Duh. Okay. Okay, so over here, back to what I was doing, and now that I figure out why the volume was off, I like turned the volume off myself, so that's my fault. Okay, anyway, over here, we have this snare drum. I have an arpeggiator right here, and it's sent to the 16th note for the rate, so it's being played at a 16th note. And then after that, I have a sampler, and the sampler has a snare sample, and I just wrote out like one long MIDI note down here. So this one long MIDI note, since it's like arpeggiated, it's being played at a 16th note rhythm. And then over here, I got this EQ8 kind of acting like an auto filter. And if you look over here all the way to the left, it starts off very low and it slowly increases. So Chris, I think if during that like build-up section, you had like this arpeggiated like snare roll, and you also put an EQ8 on there, it would sound cool if you did something like this. So on its own, it sounds alright, but if you had that in the background while you had all those other effects going, I think it would sound really cool. So definitely go ahead and try that out. I'm going to go ahead and show you again real quick so you can see what I was doing. You don't have to put the arpeggiator. You can actually write in all of the 16th notes, but this is like my hack to it. I just put an arpeggiator on there so I can draw one single note from like left to right. And then because there's an arpeggiator on there, which is a MIDI effect, it plays at a 16th note pattern. So you really need three things if you want to do this: the arpeggiator, the sampler, and also an automation right here. You do right click, show automation, and just draw a line from like a low frequency to a high one. We'll do it a little bit quicker because I don't want to wait that long. So yeah, like this. Right, so Go ahead and try that out and let me know if that helps you. Okay, you said you agree 100%. You're trying to do something like that with the claps, but that would sound much better. Yeah, it works with claps. I think like if you use claps, maybe like layer it with a snare, because I feel like the snare, it has like the initial transients or like the loudness on the very beginning of the hit. So that's why I like using a snare drum, because you can hear like the actual like hit like right on the beat. I feel like with a clap, sometimes it falls behind or it sounds like a little bit robotic because people don't clap that fast. You know what I mean? But you can play a snare drum that fast and you can do like a roll. But yeah, good song. Let me go ahead and let me listen to it. I'll let you know if I heard anything else. I like that pulsing bass line on the bottom. It sounds really cool. Very percussive and like it drives the song. Cool beans. Y'all ever seen the movie Hot Rod? That movie's so funny. Anyway, back to what we were doing. Let's go ahead and listen to Philip Lee's submission for the week. He's got like this beautiful waterfall. By the way, if you guys ever been to Georgia, there's a bunch of beautiful waterfalls over there. I went there recently, like I think 2 weeks ago now. It was really cool. And Philip Lee says, here is one of my takes on Jungle Terror in a different way. I utilized animalistic sounds and a warm chord loop to give you a feeling of being in the rainforest. I see the album work. I understand now. Okay, there's a textured waterfall in the background. Nice. After the breakdown, when you feel the pulsing bass line with the hawk soaring over the drop. Enjoy. Wow, that was like a beautiful picture that he just painted with me with like words. I'm sure the song's going to do the same thing. And if you look at his waveform over here, I think it's really cool that it starts off like really quiet and over here it gets the maximum loudness. Having dynamic in your music is very important. I feel like it almost makes you feel like you're going somewhere because the volume is changing so much and it's increasing in volume and also intensity. That's nice. Oh, I like that chord progression already. And then vocal sample with the delay. Really good. This is like Kaytranada if you made like Jungle Terror. I don't want to compare you to Kaytranada because you don't want to be compared to him. But this is like of Kaytranada quality, which is a good thing. Let me know if you agree. Ooh. I hear the waterfall. Very calming. kick drum. That was tight. That's a nice outro. Wow, I'm like super impressed. That was very, very cool. I gotta hand it to you, man. This is awesome. When I was like listening to it, I could like hear in my head like either like you or like maybe like someone else like reading like poetry like in the background. I think that would sound really cool. I feel like the beginning of a song could use some lyrics, man. That's like the only thing that I think it's missing. Although, when I was listening to, I think like 3 minutes into the song, you were doing some really cool effects on the animalistic sounds. I noticed you're messing around with like panning. And the thing I have to tell you about panning is you got to be a little bit careful by not going, okay, this is my personal opinion, by not going like 100% to the left or to the right. You know how like in Ableton you can either go like 50 left or like 50 right. Maybe as like a suggestion, only go to like 40 left or 40 right, because if you're listening on like one like headphone or like a mono system where you're not going to hear like left and right completely, you might not be able to hear that particular vocal effect completely. So as a suggestion, maybe go ahead and instead of doing 50 right or left for your maximum value, use like 40 or like 45. So I've been messing around with that, and that's been like very helpful for me. But yeah, that was really cool, man. That chord progression was tight. The drum beat was tight. I really like this little section at the end. I know it's an outro, but I feel like you could sprinkle that in a couple more times in the song, because that was just like a really nice beat. And I like the high-pitched vocals and like the delay you put on them. It sounded really nice. Oh, I love the waterfall, man. It's crazy how much like that can add, like that one little sample in the background. And like, try this. Like, if you open up this project again, like try to listen to that section without the waterfall, and the song is gonna sound naked to you. It's like the craziest thing. Yeah, the percussion is awesome, man. This is really cool. And like I mentioned before, I hope you didn't like get offended when I said this sounds like Kaytranada. I feel like his like writing structure and like the way that he layers his sounds, like I find it all like super interesting. I think he's like so talented, and I feel like I don't want to put you in the box and tell you that you sound like Kaytranada, but your music is starting to sound like it's the same quality as Kaytranada, and he's like a really, really awesome producer and super well established. And I feel like probably in a matter of time you're gonna start making music that's like professional, you know, like at that level. You're like almost there. This is incredible. I really like this song. Really good job this week, man. Yeah, you said you were messing around with the EQ. I hope that helped when you were making this. But yeah, I'm like very, very, very happy for you. Going back to the chat real quick, just so I can catch up. You thought touch sensitive Weewick and Slow Magic had a baby. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, the chord progression is super nice. It's soothing. The buildup of energy and dynamics was incredible. Like the panning. Yeah, the panning was really cool. Like I was listening to that part and it was like bouncing from like left to right and you're getting super creative with it. I love that, man. Like keep up with that creativity. Philip said I felt proud of this one and the visual made me think of a video. Yeah, you should be proud of this one. I feel like if you had like a video made for this one, you got to be like out in nature. Okay, so Georgia, where I went, there's this really cool place called Amicalola Park, and it's pretty much like a giant waterfall, and there's like a nature trail around it. I think that'd be really cool for you to do that. There's also this other place called Cloudland, which is really cool. And then the thing about Cloudland National Park, you like hike down the side of a mountain, and when you get down to the bottom, you go like left or right, and depending on which way you go, there's like a waterfall on each side, and there's like this big like reservoir that you can like swim in, and you can go in the waterfall. That was the one to the left. When you go to the one on the right, you can like go around the outside of the reservoir, and you can chill inside of a cave, like behind a waterfall. It was incredible. Like it was so cool. We were just hanging out there, and like you look up and you can see the cliff and like where the water is falling from. It was incredible. And then also they have like a canyon, like a mini Grand Canyon over there in Georgia. What is it called? I think it was Providence Canyon State Park. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. Let me see if I can show you really quick what it looks like. I know we're getting off topic, but if you want to film a video, go to Georgia, man. Let's see. Where's a good picture? Yeah, like check this out. This is in Georgia, like a little bit north of Florida. And then they also have Cloudland, which is super cool too. Cloudland State Park. So that's the first waterfall on the left-hand side that you can go to. Right there. And when you go up to the very top and you look out, this is what it looks like. It's pretty much a canyon too. Dude, it was gorgeous out there, man. I loved it. I kind of want to go back. And then this is the other one. So this is the one where we walked around the back and we were just hanging out in the cave back there. So that was like really cool too. Anyway, sorry to get off topic on you, but I feel like going to Georgia and sitting in these waterfalls would be like really cool. But I digress. And then Antone said that I feel like all the sounds in that song blended really well. I really liked it. I thought they blended really well too, man. They sounded great together. And yeah, Ken, that was on my IG. I put it on my story and stuff. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, let's get back. We have a submission from Antone Vinogradov. Hope I pronounced that right. Antone, where are you from? You got like a Slavic, European sounding last name. I'm inclined to think that you're from Russia. But let's check this song out.
Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be.
Yeah, solid volume automation over there at the end. And Tone, were those original vocals? I'm gonna go ahead and open up the webcam so I can look at the chat real quick. I'm gonna go scroll up a little bit. Yeah, Philip, those sites were awesome. But back to Antone. You were born in New York, but my family's from Russia. Very nice. Yeah, my family's from Russia too. I'm actually half Russian. That was my first language, was the Russian language. English is my second language. Okay. What is it? Depeche Mode? Who's that? I gotta look them up. Let's see. You're listening to a lot of Antone for a particular song, but I guess the DM influences seeped through. Go with it. Thanks. Was there a glitch I heard, or that was me? That was actually me opening up a project in Ableton. I heard that glitch too. Sorry about that. Yes, not a vocalist, but gave it my best shot. Yeah, good job, man. I think you're the first person in the group to sample their own voice and actually sing it. Oh, huge synth pop band from the 1980s. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check them out. Yeah, good job, man. I feel like with the vocals, I'm not sure if you did this, but it's always good to go ahead and like pitch correct your vocals. And not saying anything against you. All the best singers use like pitch correction on their vocals just to make sure to tune them a little bit better. Like the human voice, I know like to the ear it might sound perfect, but you always gotta like go in yourself and like fix those notes that are a little bit off like key or like a little bit off pitch or whatever. The best software that I like to use is Melodyne. So yeah, Melodyne. You can go look at their website to figure out which one you want to grab. I think they have a couple different versions, but I think I talked about it before, either on a webinar or like one of these like feedback sessions. But go ahead and open up Melodyne, and you're gonna see your vocals, and you're gonna see what notes they're on, and just kind of go in there and like fine tune like the pitches so it like sounds a little bit more in tune. Yeah, Melodyne is great, man. Yeah, really good job with this song, man. I like the structure. You had like your hook, which is like your vocal part, which is really cool. I think the sooner you start like recording your own vocals, the better. I need to start doing it myself. I'm just always in like producer mode. I never give myself enough time to record my own vocals, or I'm always working with clients. But that's just myself giving myself excuses, and I need to stop that. So let me go ahead and knock that off. Yeah, I was listening to it, and here's a couple things that I thought. I thought the drum arrangement, it was good. It was like the basic like the house pattern, but I feel like maybe you could layer a couple more of your hi-hats or a couple more of like your snares and claps, and then put some offbeats on there. So you had like the, but I feel like it'd be cool if you had like a, you know, the hi-hat, or like a, you know what I mean? Just add a couple parts. You don't have to make it like as like wild as I just did, but just throw in like some other notes in there to make it sound a little bit different. And it's really good to have like pauses and breaks, I feel like, in songs. So like, let me just go ahead and listen to this right here.
Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation to whatever happens.
So like maybe like have like a
I'll
little,
let it
like
be.
a split second of silence right before your drop happens over here.
Temptation, let it be. Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation me.
So you know, like you say like whatever happens, let it be. So I feel like for like the very last phrase where you say let it be, maybe like you can have like 4 bars of silence and just have your vocals say like let it be. Stop everything in the music and then put like a really big delay. So then like when the drop comes back in, the drop comes in like really loud, because you're gonna have that contrast of like silence right before the drop. So like, this is the build up, and then you have like this like break of silence where your vocals just say let it be and there's no other instruments playing. Excuse me. So build up, silence with just the vocals in that little bit of silence, and it'll be like 4 counts of like silence. And then I feel like you should let the drop happen, take out the main vocal line, but put a delay, so then while the drop's happening, it just says let it be, and just like delays, and keeps repeating.
Whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me.
I think that'd be cool. And then have like that going, and then like maybe halfway through the drop, bring the vocals back in so that people can like get a break from it, but also want it back when the drop's happening.
Whatever happens, I'll let hold when you look at me.
And then when your vocals are going on, I noticed you took away the drums. You don't have to do this, but I think it'd be cool if you did like what I told Jaquez, where you have like a snap with like a reverb on it, or even like a clap going on in that section. So like,
whatever happens, I'll let it be. Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever happens, I'll let it be.
And then maybe like right there, bring in like some hi-hats, like, and then like I told Chris earlier, even have like that low pass snare roll. So have like a snare roll playing like 16th notes, and then bring in like a filter, so like the snare increases in like volume and like frequency. Just a suggestion. And let me go over here back to the chat. Let me know if you are following along with what I'm telling you. I know I'm like throwing a bunch of shit at you. You don't have to do all of it, but I think it'll sound cool. But it's your song, so you don't have to take my advice, but it'd be cool at the same time. My personal opinion. Okay, so you agree. Okay, and then another thing I was thinking, I'm just flowing with ideas right now, so I'm going to keep going with it. Like, what if in the second drop, you like used your vocals, but not how they are right now. Okay, so you have this feature in Ableton, which is called, I'll just show you over here. I got Ableton open right here. I got the audio sample. All right, so you have the sampler if you're working with audio files, right? And your vocal recording, it is an audio file. So over here, you have a transposition button. I think that it would be cool if maybe you like transpose it 12 steps, and 12 steps is an octave. So say like you pitch your vocal up like a whole octave, and then when you're doing that, like chop it up and like find different parts that you think would sound cool, and just go ahead and like throw them like during the second like drop, like high pitched vocals, maybe like some mid pitched vocals, and then you can transpose them down like 5, 7, or 12 steps, and just do different vocal effects, you know what I mean? Get creative with it, and just kind of like sprinkle them like during the second drop or like throughout the song, and just have them kind of like in the background as like another vocal element to your song.
Temptation takes hold when you look at me. Whatever.
And then maybe like I was thinking that like this bass right here, that bass right there, it sounds cool, but I think it should come out more in the mix. So you can do a couple of different things. You could throw a compressor on there. I know we haven't talked about it, but we'll get to it soon. Like a compressor to compress that signal to make it like a little bit louder. You can go ahead and put a saturator on there, which is a built-in audio effect into Ableton. Or you can go ahead and put a distortion on there. I think there's like a amp, there's also overdrive and also distort in Ableton that you can use to add some more like fullness to that. And maybe even like layer it with like a really low sub bass, so it really like pops out and they kind of like work as like a big unit. Like I feel like that like bass should like pump more, you know what I mean? I feel like it should like be a little bit louder, a little bit more powerful. I like that string. Yeah, this is like a really good arrangement, man. You did a really good job with the song structure, and I'm really proud of you for doing vocals. I feel like doing your own vocals is like really important. So yeah, keep it up the good work, man. Thank you for submitting music this week. Really good job. Going back over here to the group. The early samplers, yeah, they're good. Yeah, like maybe like some short vocal chops, like phrases from out the song, like you saying like whatever happens or like let it be, and just kind of like sprinkle it in there. The sub bass, yeah, maybe I didn't hear it as well. Maybe it needs to come out more, or maybe it's because there's like not a lot of sidechain happening. But yeah, you're welcome for the feedback, man. That's what I'm here for. And then I know I was having a couple people ask me at the beginning of the week if I can like go ahead and talk about how I process my drums, and you guys asked me to do it live, but I could do it live. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go into one of my previous projects, and I'm going to talk about what I added in there to help you out. And excuse me. The reason I need water. I'm dying. Okay, and the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to show you guys like a finished project, because if it's a finished project, I know that I'm completely done with all the processing for my drums, and I know that they sound good. I just don't want to miss a beat, so I want to make sure you guys see everything. It's that pen, Grant. No, I was eating like dried peanuts, and I had one like stuck in the back of my throat. That's what it is, okay? Okay, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is just show you the drums for this particular song and how I organize and process them, so I can give you guys a better idea. So let's just go ahead and we'll go through my processing chain, and we'll go from the top down. In this particular song, I have like quite a bit of percussive elements going on. The very first group that I have is called the top drum. group. So within that group, I have the orchestra drums, I have the toms, I have my percussion group, and also my hi-hats. And the other group that I have is my kick and snare group, which it's pretty self-explanatory. It's kick drum and the snare drum. Nothing too fancy. But let's go ahead and start with the first group within the top drum. I guess like bus. And if you look over here, I have like a 1 tom, 2 tom, 3 toms, and a snare. And I have no processing on them whatsoever. The only processing that I have on that whole entire group is actually this drum bus, and I also have a utility. So within that group, this is what's going on. Sounds big, right? Let's go ahead and take the drum bus off and listen to what it sounds like. It sounds alright, but I feel like it just sounds so much more bigger when I put that on. Right, like you can hear a difference. So what I did with the drum bus, I have the dry wet, which is like the amount of the effect that's happening at 75%. So 75% of the signal is being affected by a drum bus. And then another thing I did a soft distortion with 20% drive, and you can do that by taste, like depending on how much drive and saturation and distortion you want on your bus, but I put it at 20. Crunch, I did it at 20 as well. And the dampening, it pretty much you pick which frequencies get like the distortion on them, and I put it up 20,000, so all of the frequencies are getting distortion on them. And the transients, it emphasizes them, so I put it up a very small amount. Usually it's on 0, but I put it on 0.2, and what that does is it makes the hit a little bit more punchier. And then over here, I changed the frequency to 39 hertz, which is the note D sharp. My song is in the key of D sharp minor, I believe. And the boom, that's going to be how much like drive you have on like the low end, and I put it at 15%. So that's the processing for the orchestrated drums. And aside from that, I have like a volume automation. So as you can tell, it starts over here at -2, and as the build up progresses or the song progresses, it just increases with volume. So not a lot of processing. All I did is I pretty much put a drum bus on there. And then over here, I got my toms. These samples sound great. I didn't process those either. Like I was mentioning before, if you have like high quality samples, you don't really need to do much to them, and they still sound big. And with this one right here, I put a drum bus on there. Yeah, I love the drum bus. I've been using it like crazy lately. This over here, transient shift decay, that is actually a preset over here on the left hand side under the drum bus. I threw it on there and it sounded good, so I left it there. I like the settings, how they were. So that's the processing that I put on the toms, which are over here. They sound big without the drum bus. They don't sound as big. So this is without the bus. With the bus, they just got so much more punch to them, man. I love the drum bus. It just makes everything sound better in the drums. Drum bus everything in your drums. You can probably use it for other stuff too. Like, why not? Get crazy. Over here, I have percussion, and it's kind of funny. I only used 3 of them. It was for the second drop of the song. Just some little clacks and like bleeps and bloops, I guess. Whatever that thing is, and then whatever this thing is. It just sounds funny, to be honest. And over here, the whole entire the bus for the percussion, there's not much happening right there. Over here on the first weird sound, what I went ahead and did is I did like my generic reverb and delay bus that I always like to use. So I have it in parallel processing. And I think I showed you guys how to do that already. But over here at the bottom, I have the dry signal. So that's the signal without any effects on it. Over here, I have a delay. The delay is up all the way because I wanted to hear it during that part. And then I have this EQ8, which is like the Abbey Road EQ that I told you about, where you have a 12 decibel per octave low cut at 600, and then the high cut at 10,000. And then after that, I have my delay. It's set to the number 3, so it's hit every single, I think every 3/16 notes or 3/8 notes, whatever the tempo is. Feedback's at 40, dry wet is at 100. And then above that, I have the same setup with the effects being routed through the Abbey Road EQ. And then I have my Valhalla Room reverb, which is my go-to reverb. You can use like the Ableton reverb. It's straight. I'm just biased to this one because I always use it, so it's what's in my preset. And I have all of these timed out to the song, so the pre-delay and decay is like timed out to the song as well. And the way you can do that, you can kind of like zoom in really closely. And so like that right there, if you look at the bottom over here in the bottom left, it tells you how long that time is. And you want to go ahead and set up your effects based off like those like timings. So right here, that duration is like 100 milliseconds. So you can use like 100 milliseconds. You can use like 50 milliseconds or even like 25 milliseconds. So that's that. And the other sounds that I have for the percussion, like those two, they're doing the same thing, but the only difference is I took off the delay on them, so they don't have a delay. And that's it. So just those percussions, all they have is like parallel processing with the dry signal, the reverb signal, and also the delay signal. Now for the hats, these ones are a little bit more fancy. But for this whole entire song, I only used 2 different like hi-hat or cymbal instruments. So I have like this hi-hat loop right here. And on the individual loop, I actually don't have any effects. And for the crash, I also don't have any individual effects. But when it comes to the bus, this is where the action is at. Okay, so the first thing I did, I went ahead and I did an EQ on the whole entire bus. So if you look over here, I just did like a low cut at 200 hertz, but instead of the 12 decibels per octave, I did the 48 decibels per octave, so it's just more sharp of a cut. And then same thing on top, I put it at 18,000. And that's all the EQ I did for that. I feel like that's all I really needed. The next thing I have on there is actually this little LFO tools. So this is what I like to use for sidechain. I could use, there's like a million different ways you can sidechain something. It's just what you like the best. I like using LFO tools. And this sidechain happens when you have the snare drum hit. So every time the snare drum hits, you're going to see this sidechain working. That's that. And then, you guessed it, I put a drum bus on it. Yeah, I know. I love a drum bus. I don't care. Everyone needs to know about it. Dry wet, 70%. I put 20% drive on there. I put the damp at 9.2 kilohertz and the crunch at 0. The transients was fine. I left it alone. And I used 0% boom. Because the boom, it's really good for like kick drums and like toms and stuff. If you're not working with them, it doesn't really matter. So I didn't use that. Now over here, this is the Grantley reverb and delay preset. By the way, guys, if you make a folder with all your presets, like look at all this. You see all this stuff right here? I'm going to turn my face off real quick. All this stuff over here on the left-hand side, those are all different presets that I made, that I saved, that I just use later on. As you can tell, it's getting a little bit excessive, so I'm probably going to have to go in there and organize them a little bit better. I've just been throwing all of them in there for the past couple of years, but they help because I can pull up like this reverb and delay and it's just there for me. So yeah, you already saw how that works. You don't really have to worry about it. But for the Valhalla Room, for hi-hats in particular on the reverb, I like to have like a very short pre-delay and decay. So that way it's not like the decay is echoing out for like a long time. Like if you look right here, I have 0.2 seconds. So that's like a very, very short what is it called? It's 20 like milliseconds, so it's like a very very short decay and a very short pre-delay. And that's it for the hi-hats. So just to reiterate, I got an EQ, then I got some sidechain, then I got the drum bus, because you know your boy loves that drum bus, and then reverb and delay. Actually, to be honest, I'm only using reverb. I just forgot to delete the delay right there, so don't pay attention to that. And now we move on to the kick and snare, which is a very important element of your song. Let me just close this for you to see it better. First thing on the chain, drum bus. I went ahead and I put the drive at 25%. So there's 25% drive going on. 20% crunch, 20 kilohertz. So all of it gets like the distortion onto it. And then transients at 0.2 to make it a little bit more punchier. I put the boom at 5% because I thought this kick drum was really boomy to begin with. Like you can already hear that. That's like a big chunk, you know? Like that's like a thick kick drum right there. So I didn't need that much. But I did lower the frequency to 39 kilohertz because the key signature of my song is D sharp minor. And after that, I have utility. I always use utility for like volume automations. So throughout my song, my kick drum changes volume, and I just use the utility for that. This reverb and delay, that's the one I always use. You already know what it is. The only time I use the reverb and delay and the filter is in this introduction portion right here, because I wanted to make like the drums sound like they're kind of in the background of the song and you don't hear them that well. So they sound like this. Oops, 1 second, there was like a glitch. So they kind of like fade in right there, as opposed to right here where they sound like really full. That's a fat kick drum, man. Oh, I think I'm like blowing out your speakers. Let me just turn this volume down real quick. So yeah, this part right here, I guess it would be helpful if I went ahead and talked about all the stuff that I put in within my snare bus, right? Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Let me teach you guys something real quick. Okay, so going from the top to the bottom, we have this build snare drum right here. This is just for the build up. I have this drawn out right here, and the benefit to doing that is you have this MIDI effect called velocity, and what it does, it makes your snare drums be at different volumes so it doesn't sound as robotic. And then after that, I have the sampler playing this pattern, or I guess this sample, and then the utility for the volume automation, and then also a reverb with my famous Grant Lee reverb and delay patch that I use for everything. If it works, stick with it. Don't change anything about it. It sounds good? Great. Move on to the next thing. That's why I use that stuff all the time. This one right here, it's like a snare drum with like a little bit of reverb on it. Very small amount of reverb. I put this EQ on there. Do you remember that table I gave you with all the good values and all the good frequencies? Let me go ahead and check the chat, see if you guys are still with me. Alright, cool. You guys are still with me, somewhat. Over here, yeah, I use this EQ, and it's actually one of the Ableton built-in EQs. If you go to EQ8 and you open up instrument, or I'm sorry, drums, this is snare EQ number 1. I was like reviewing, and they pretty much boost the frequencies that sound good based on a table I gave you last week. So I have that. After that, reverb and delay. That's it for this one right here. And then I also have the second snare right here. And that's just a snare. with reverb on it. Nothing fancy. Down at the bottom, I have a clap. Literally no processing at all. And above that one, I have this reverse like snare. So this is what the whole snare group sounds like. And on its own, it sounds pretty lame. That's when I bring in the other kick. So yeah, like I said, on its own, it sounds pretty lame. But when you play all the drums together, it actually sounds pretty good. This is what it sounds like right here. It's a fat kick, man. Alright, anyway. And then for my kick drum, I think I used 4 different kick drums total. I have this one in the beginning, which is called the effects kick. And it's just for that like section where the drums kind of sound reserved. And I also have an automation on the volume and also the EQ. So if you watch this right here and the filter, it's going to change on you. And the reverb and delay is turned on right here. That's what this line is. Let me go ahead and open this for you so you can see what it looks like. And right there, it turns off. Okay, so yeah, that's kick drum number 1. I call it the effects kick. And then I have this acoustic kick over here for the build-up. It just kind of like adds like some more like pulse and like some intensity to it. Kind of like a double kick pattern. And then for the kick drum group, I put a glue compressor on there to compress the signal. Now this right here is my top kick. It's like a kick drum and a sampler. It's a MIDI channel. And then I have the low cut at 100 and I have a compressor on top of it. And then for this one, this is my actual kick. I don't know why it's called top kick. That was a mistake. That should be just regular kick. It's just a kick sample inside of a sampler. No processing whatsoever. And then together they sound like really cuts through a mix. And then down here I have like this thing. It's called a kick trigger. So because I use LFO tools, I need to write out the same exact pattern. So if you look over here, the kick pattern up here is the same exact as the kick trigger. So every time this trigger happens, the LFO tools, so you look down here, these are all my different channels that have a sidechain on them. So I have my hi-hat, I have like a low-end synth, I have a sub, synthesizer, LFO, effects, I have my guitar and my synth vocals. So I have like this little note being sent to like different instruments. So if you look over here, where's it at? So over here, LFO tools, every time that little dot happens, you're going to notice that this right here is going to get activated. So that's pretty much what it does. And then I also have a snare trigger. So every time the snare happens, like up here, you can see that this is the snare drum and this is the trigger. It also gets sidechain. and these 5, or I guess these 4 different audio channels get the sidechain to them. So all together, the drums, you already heard what they sound like. This is what it sounds like with the song.
Not afraid to die. But I'm not afraid to die. Lift me.
Yeah, sorry to keep going back to the song. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing it, but this is like my last song that I finished. I just sent it out for one of my friends to master yesterday. So that's why I wanted to use it as an example, because I thought the drums sounded really good, and it would be good to talk about them within this feedback session. Alright, so let me go back to the comments real quick. You guys are all here. Everyone's all together. So with LFO tools, you can choose if you want the sidechain to happen. Yes, definitely. Okay, so with the LFO tools, there's 2 different options. Like for me, for that particular song, the kick drum wasn't like a steady pattern. So what I do for that particular song, I have to draw out the notes and then tell it when to happen. If I were doing like a house song, the kick drum, it's like always like 4 on the floor. It's like, it's like on a quarter note pattern. You can set the LFO tools to do that quarter note pattern, and you don't have to draw it in. It will just do it automatically. For this song, since the kick drum, it's kind of like at different parts of the song, you have to actually go ahead and do that. But yeah, hopefully that helped you guys. If you guys have any questions about how I process my drums, or if I was going too fast, just let me know right now. I'll go ahead and answer it. And if you guys had any questions at all, just go ahead, and I'll stay on for a couple more minutes. I got some time, and just go ahead and answer everything just to make sure you understand everything. So yeah, let me know. So yes, Antone, you can go ahead and do the ghost kick drum for sidechaining if you don't have LFO tools by using the Ableton compressor. That's actually the method that I'm going to be going over for this following week that we're doing. Oh, also, I wanted to tell you guys, I'm doing another webinar tomorrow. And so this webinar, it's going to be different from the one before. The first webinar, I feel like it was more of like a wide spectrum of stuff. But for this new webinar that I'm doing tomorrow, it's going to be 3 o'clock Eastern Time, August 16th. I'm actually going to be producing a song from beginning to end. And I'm going to give you guys like a little sneak peek. I'm going to be sampling a couple things. So I got these like silverware. I'm going to be like hitting them, recording them, making them make sounds. And then like I found like this like glass. So I'm going to sample this. And then also, I'm going to sample this plant. I'm going to play this plant and record it into the microphone and make a song out of it. So if you guys want to go ahead and see that, I'm going to go and look up the link right now. And I'm going to post it in the chat so you guys can check it out. Let me just go ahead and get that link real quick. 1 second. Un momento, por favor. Yeah, so I'm going to be producing a song from start to finish. I'm going to sample all those weird sounds. I'm going to go ahead and sample my guitar, and I'm going to record myself playing piano and playing the bass line too. So it's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, Chris, I actually have sampled myself before. Thanks for giving me that positive feedback on that riser. One of my friends had like a vaporizer one time, and we recorded it into the microphone. This one time, like I sampled like some fried chicken I was making. I just put like a microphone up to it, used it as like a background Foley. I'm gonna start sampling myself more often. Typically, when I do sample myself, it's me playing the guitar, but I want to start using my own voice and stuff like that. Actually, you know what? I did sample myself, but I wasn't singing like Antone was. I just kind of like was talking and saying things, and then I put it into my song. But yeah, this whole entire year, um, I was supposed to be working on using my own vocals. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. But maybe I'll start this week. You know what I mean? I'll start like singing. I want to start. I practice singing a lot. I just want to start recording myself. So if I ever start doing that, I'll definitely send it your guys' way. Let's see. Yeah, sampling yourself is really cool to do. There's actually an artist, and he created a whole entire song by using his own voice. I'm gonna go ahead and try to find him if I can. Where's this guy at? Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead and try to post it. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and post a link over here. So this song right here, the guy who made the song, every single instrument or like noise you hear, he made it using his own voice or his own body. So that was like a very creative way to make music. Do you have recommendations for improving your own vocals? I'm trying to improve my own vocals too. And what I found helps me the most is just I got vocal lessons a while ago, but I feel like they weren't that helpful. Pretty much what I would do, which is what I do now, we found like instrumental versions of songs that we liked, and then I would just sing them on my own, record myself, reflect how I sounded, and then kept doing that cycle over and over again. So like the more you sing and the more you record yourself, the better off you'll be. If you can find um, maybe like a really good vocal instructor or like a very good vocal class that you can take, I think that'd be like a really good way to improve your vocals. And just sing a lot, man. That's the best thing you can do. Just like the more you sing, the better you'll get at it. Practice definitely makes perfect. Yeah, definitely start incorporating your voice. It's like a very powerful tool. And having like vocal elements in your song, if it's not like you singing, it still adds a lot to the production. So yeah, I think making vocals in your song is like really important. So like that last song I showed you on Ableton just now, that's like one of my first songs where I have like vocals throughout like the majority of the song. I actually started like a pop punk electronic side project last week. So be on the lookout for that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for that project. We got like 2 songs that we're working on right now, and they're pretty sick. I'll have to share that with you guys once it's finished. But yeah, if you guys want to attend the webinar tomorrow, help spread the word. That'd be really cool. The link is right there. I just put it up there. That's the registration link. And then the SoundCloud link, that's the producer who made he made like that whole entire song by using his body and his own voice. So if you want to check that out, that's like really cool too. Yeah, Antone, I'll definitely send you the songs when they're done. We literally just like started them last week, and it's like the bare bones skeleton. When my friend comes back, we're gonna work on it some more, and I'll definitely send it your way. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Ken said the course link didn't work. Oh, why not, man? Okay, what about now? Thanks, better. Okay, awesome. Cool. Well, thank you guys for sticking through the feedback session. Really good productions all week, every week. They just keep getting better. I feel like a proud parent right now. So this next week we're going to be talking about compression, sidechaining, and also how to use limiters to bring up the volume of your song. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, it's been real. I'll see you